Democrats. Today is Thursday, April 19th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. So happy Thursday. So last week, at the end of the week, I said that I wasn't going to talk about COVID this week because I, like you, am sick of hearing about COVID. Hi, Mary. Hi, Wayne. But today is the first day of school in Tulsa. And so my feed is filled with all of these cute little kids standing by doors. I don't know when that started, but it's filled with all these cute kids standing by doors and some adults standing by doors celebrating their first day of school. And I've been seeing that, for the last couple of weeks from different school districts, but it hit me a little different because it's in my town. And, and some of the folks were saying, and I've been hearing this all month, how scared they are to send their kids send their kids to school. And the Tulsa, and I guess it seems a little bit more relevant to me because the Tulsa folks are kind of at the end of the line. Oklahoma City has been in school. Other different districts have been in school for a while. And now Tulsa is seeing the outcome from that, where I talked last week about the fact that, Oklahoma City started out with 5, and by the end of the week, they were at 115. And I talked to somebody today, and I think they're over 150 students, not including, teachers and I can't think of the name of the people who help teachers and janitors and cafeteria workers, that it's rampant. And Oklahoma City schools have put parents on notice that they may have to go back to distance learning if they can't get this under control. And schools are thinking about what are we going to do about masks, because our legislature was so interested in scoring points with their voters that they passed this. You can't put in a school mask mandate, and that no municipality can put in a mask mandate. It was short-sighted. It was, thank you, Debbie, educational support. I don't want to disrespect anyone. I wanted to include them because I think they're important, but I didn't know their name. So thank you, Debbie, for that clarification. And so we're just at a place, right, where our state is making decisions that aren't taking care of the least of us. And quite frankly, it makes me fear how many children are worth their their point, because I guess they're trying to make a point. How many kids have to be harmed in order for them to feel like they've made their point? Tulsa City Council next Wednesday is having a conversation or a vote on whether or not we'll have a mask mandate. And it's just not smart. Hospitals are having to come out every day and tell us whether or not there are beds available. We are at a crisis point. And we should be able to do what makes sense, and we shouldn't be bullied by a fraction. The far right are a fraction of our society. They're not the majority. They're a fraction. They're very loud, and they're having all of these little silly events, but they're a fraction, and we shouldn't be bullied by that fraction. We should look out for the most of us. We should adopt what I'm calling shared responsibility. Everybody about, particularly our government, talking about personal responsibilities. I think Oklahomans will take personal responsibility. After 17 months, I think we've proven that Oklahomans aren't going to take personal responsibility. And we need to adopt new language, and we need to talk about shared responsibility. I think that I share the responsibility of all of y'all and of all of my neighbors to look out for all of y'all and all of my neighbors. When I go out in public, I need to make sure that I'm not spreading, I'm not sharing, I'm not picking it up and taking it where I go. That's shared responsibility. We all need to look out for each other. I, for one, am sick of wearing a mask. When I was getting ready, I think you guys can see it. This right here is what I call mask lips, because I put on lipstick because I'm on Zoom all day. And then when I leave the house, I have to put on a mask, and it just spreads all over my face. I'm sick of it. I'm sure you guys are sick of it. And we just have to encourage our friends and neighbors. And we all have friends and neighbors who are from the other side. We just need to encourage them that it's about shared responsibility. It's not about, fear over faith or fear or what. It's not about that. It's about, we believe in science. And science says is if we all take care, it will spread. And what will spread is health will spread. We will reduce the spread of the disease. The disease is being spread because folks are just out there willy-nilly acting like there's not a whole pandemic going on. So I'm sorry that I talked about COVID, even though I said you guys I wasn't going to. But watching my Facebook feed and listening to the press conference the Tulsa mayor and health department did today, where they were saying everybody in the city council is wearing a mask. And if you come to a city building, whether you work there or you're a visitor, you have to wear a mask. And we think that we all believe in masks, but we're afraid to say the word mandate because it'll make people scared or it'll make people crazy. Real leaders know that we have to make hard decisions. Real leaders know that sometimes we have to make the decision and make it happen, and the public will come along. But as long as we hide from the minority, the fringe, as long as we hide from them, we're never going to get out of this pandemic. It's just that simple. We need to recognize that those loud anti-mask, anti-vax people are not the majority. They're just the loudest. And I think we can fight against them. We just have to believe it. Now, the advertising for today was about how to get involved remotely, which I think kind of feeds on to the next line. We need to be careful. We need to not be out there spreading germs, but we also need to be mobilizing Democrats. There are lots of ways that you can do this. You can participate in phone banks, and we are now setting up phone banks to call Democrats who haven't been voted and get them back engaged. You can There are a lot of candidates all over the state now who have announced that they're running. Call them and ask them how you can help. Ask them if they need phone bank help. That is a way that you can help. And even I get a lot of pushback on phone banks, so I'm going to say this. Yes. And a lot of phone banks, you're getting a lot of bad numbers. Then you're getting a lot of not answers. That helps too, because what that does is it helps to clean up the database. I know it seems fruitless. I know it seems useless. But when we get heavy into campaign season and the candidates are calling, if you've gone through and you've cleaned up the database, they have a chance of talking more directly to candidates because you've already taken out the bad phone numbers. It is incredibly helpful. I know it feels futile when you sit there for an hour and you talk to 3 people, but what you've done is you've cleaned up 97 bad phone numbers out of the database, and it helps the candidate down the line. Keep that in mind. We got to help our candidates, and right now, between now and December, we need to be doing all the things that we can do to clean up all the databases, all the mobilizing as many Democrats as we can, so that when Democrats get on full board and start running, we've made a place for them. So call your county chair, call your county officer, call any Democrat that you know that is involved, and find out how you can participate in a phone bank. You can do that from home, where you can control your time, your climate, how many germs you encounter. That's what I'm going to encourage you to do. It's free. You can do it on your own time. We ask that you don't call before 8 a.m. or 9 p.m., but it will be incredibly helpful to Democrats as they run. So that's one way, and I'm just going to keep coming up with ways, but that's one way that you can help a Democrat or help the Democratic Party and stay safe. All righty, you guys have a great one. Thank you so very much for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow at 4:15.